All right, so get ready because today we're taking a deep dive into something a
Uh-oh.
little different. We're diving into the world of toilets.
Toilets.
Yep, Toto toilets to be exact, all thanks to a listener who sent in their Toto toilet manual.
Oh, wow. A toilet manual. That's unique.
You might be thinking, a toilet manual. Seriously.
Yeah.
But trust me, this thing is way more interesting than you think.
I'll take your word for it.
It's amazing what you can find just lurking in the instructions for a porcelain throne.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really think about the technology that goes into something you use every day like that.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to uncover today. All those hidden innovations in everyday objects, starting with toilets.
It's kind of like you don't really appreciate something until you really dive into how it works, right?
Right. So are you ready to become a toilet expert?
Let's do it.
All right. First up, Toto is like obsessed with saving water.
Okay, makes sense. Water conservation is super important.
Seriously, they've got all these different flushing systems with these crazy names like Tornado Flush
Tornado flush.
and GMX. It's like they have a whole superhero team dedicated to saving water.
That's one way to put it. But, I mean, names aside, it's awesome that they're so focused on water efficiency.
Yeah, and it's not just marketing hype. The way they achieve such powerful flushes with less water than those old toilets is actually pretty genius.
Oh, yeah, those old toilets can be real water hogs.
For real.
Yeah.
Toto uses, get this, only 1.28 gallons for a full flush, and then even less, only 0.8 gallons for a partial flush.
That's a huge difference. I mean, think about how much water that saves over time.
Exactly. And get this, I was reading through the manual, and they actually have a warning about installing two Toto toilets right next to each other.
Wait, what? Why?
Apparently, the combined flushing power is so strong that it can overwhelm your plumbing if you don't have a special fitting.
Wow, that's wild. I guess that's a testament to how efficient these flushes are.
Right. They're not messing around. So imagine you could actually cut down your water bill and help save the environment just by upgrading your toilet.
That's pretty amazing. Talk about a win-win situation.
Right. But wait, it gets even cooler. Toto has this technology called CFoundTech.
T-Fiontech, what is that?
Now, this sounds like something straight out of Star Trek, but it's actually their self-cleaning glaze technology for their toilets.
A self-cleaning toilet. Okay, I'm definitely intrigued now.
So basically, it's this special glaze that makes the toilet bowl super smooth so that nothing can really stick to it.
So you're saying, like, no more scrubbing?
You got it. 'Cause it's like a non-stick pan, but for your toilet.
I mean, that's got to save a ton of time and effort.
Absolutely.
Mm.
But it's not just about convenience. This smooth surface actually makes it harder for bacteria and all that nasty grime to build up, so your toilet stays cleaner and more hygienic for longer.
Oh, wow. So it has a real impact on hygiene, too.
Yeah, and the best part, they actually show a side-by-side picture in the manual comparing a regular toilet bowl to one with CFoundTech. The difference is unbelievable.
Really? I got to see that.
You wouldn't believe how much cleaner the CFoundTech bowl looks.
Yeah.
It's like night and day.
That's incredible. I mean, you really don't think about how much technology goes into something as simple as a toilet bowl.
Right, but Toto's not done yet. Get ready to be blown away by their DIY maintenance section in this manual.
DIY toilet maintenance. Now you've got my attention.
Seriously, this guide is so detailed, it's like they want you to become your own plumber.
What kind of things do they cover?
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
From replacing the fill valve.
Fill valve.
Yeah, the thing that controls the water going into the tank.
Right, right.
So they cover replacing that, adjusting the water levels, even servicing the flush valve.
Wow, they really go all out.
And the best part is they explain everything in such simple language, even if you're not a handy person. Plus, they have tons of diagrams and troubleshooting tips.
So even I could probably fix my own toilet with this manual.
Exactly. And think about all the money you could save on plumber visits. It's a win-win all around.
So wait, before we go any further, can we back up a sec? I gotta ask, what exactly are these fill valves and flush valves we keep talking about?
Oh yeah, good point. Not everyone's a toilet expert yet.
Some of us are still learning.
So think of the fill valve as like the water delivery system. It controls how much water flows into the tank after each flush.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the flush valve, that's the gatekeeper. It releases all that water from the tank into the bowl to do its thing.
Ah, I see. So it's like a coordinated system.
Right. And Toto makes it so easy to understand how it all works.
It's actually pretty cool when you think about it. A toilet's actually a pretty sophisticated system.
It really is. And Toto doesn't just want to sell you a toilet. They want you to understand it, maintain it, and become like a toilet master.
Now that's empowerment.
Right. They even give instructions on how to service the fill valve to prevent all that mineral buildup that can happen over time.
Oh, that's smart. It's always better to prevent problems than to fix them later.
Exactly. And they go into just as much detail for the flush valve, too. It's amazing.
You could seriously become a toilet repair pro just by reading this manual.
I'm telling you, Toto has thought of everything. They even have a whole section on how to replace the push buttons.
Replace the push buttons. I never even thought of that as a DIY project.
It's true. They show you how to remove the old ones, install the new ones, and make sure they're all lined up and working perfectly.
It's incredible how Toto breaks down all these seemingly complicated tasks into these simple, easy-to-follow steps.
Right. It's like they're saying, hey, you got this. So there you have it, folks. Water efficiency, the magic of C-Fi Tech, and a DIY maintenance guide that'll blow your mind.
Who knew toilets could be so fascinating?
Right. All this talk about Toto is making me wonder.
What's that?
If a company can put this much thought and innovation into something as, I don't know, basic as a toilet.
Yeah.
What other everyday objects are out there just hiding these amazing technology and design secrets, just waiting to be unlocked?
That's a really good question. Like Toto's opened our eyes to a whole new world of possibilities.
It really is. Makes you want to look around and think.
Like, what else could be improved?
Exactly. Speaking of improvements, I'm kind of curious about the actual water savings with one of these Toto toilets.
Yeah, that's a good point. How much water are we really talking about here?
Well, the manual says the average person flushes like 5 times a day.
5 times a day, okay.
So if you think about it, those old standard toilets use something like 3.5 gallons per flush.
So 5 times 3.5, that's like 17.5 gallons of water per day just for flushing.
Whoa, that's a lot more than I thought.
Right. It adds up.
But then with a Toto, even if you're using the full flush every time, that's only 6.4 gallons a day.
So that's a difference of over 11 gallons per day per person just by switching toilets.
That's crazy. And if you're using that partial flush option whenever you can.
You could save even more.
It's amazing how a little change can make such a big difference, right?
It really shows how powerful good design can be.
Okay, I want to go back to that C-Fi Tech glaze for a second.
Yeah, the self-cleaning stuff.
Right. We talked about all the benefits, easier cleaning, better hygiene.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking about how smooth it is.
Super smooth.
Do you think it actually, affects the flushing process too?
Oh, you know what? It does. Because that surface is so smooth, the water flows so much better during the flush.
That makes sense. Less friction.
Exactly. So yeah, C-Fi Tech isn't just about keeping things clean, it actually helps the whole flushing system work better too.
Wow. Toto really has thought of everything.
They have.
Speaking of thinking of everything, I'm going back to that DIY maintenance guide again.
What about it?
It's crazy how user-friendly they've made it. They even have a whole section on adjusting the water level in the tank.
Oh yeah, that's an important one.
And they make it so easy to understand. Like they tell you how to measure it with a ruler and everything to make sure it's right where it should be.
It's pretty cool how they can make something that sounds kind of technical sound really simple.
It's all in how you explain it.
That's true.
So besides adjusting the water level, what other DIY tasks were you impressed by?
Let me think. Well, they have a pretty detailed section on replacing the fill valve.
The fill valve.
Yeah, that one seemed a little more complicated.
Sounds a little intimidating, yeah.
But they actually break it down step by step.
Yeah, once you see it laid out like that.
It's not as bad as it sounds.
So they start by explaining what the fill valve even does and why it's important.
Right, so you understand the purpose.
And then they walk you through removing the old one and installing a new one.
And those pictures, I love all the diagrams they use.
Me too. Visuals are so helpful.
So much easier to understand that way.
And don't forget about all the troubleshooting tips they throw in.
In case you run into any problems.
It's like having a virtual plumber right there with you.
Exactly.
So replacing the fill valve, what else?
Well, there's also the section on servicing the flush valve.
The flush valve. Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
It is.
Do they go into as much detail with that as the fill valve?
Oh, yeah, totally. They cover everything from identifying all the different parts, but taking it apart, cleaning it, and putting it all back together.
Wow.
It's really impressive.
It really is. It's like they anticipated every question you could possibly have and answered it clearly.
And you know what that tells me? Toto isn't just trying to sell you a toilet. They're trying to make you a better homeowner.
By empowering you with knowledge.
That's exactly it.
I like that. Okay, so let's move on to something a little less hands-on. The push buttons.
The push buttons. What about them?
They're not just functional, they're actually kind of stylish, too.
Yeah, they come in all these different finishes these days.
You can match them to your bathroom decor,
Fancy.
But what happens if one breaks? Can you even fix that yourself?
You'd be surprised. The Toto manual actually covers that, too.
Really?
They give step-by-step instructions on how to replace those push buttons yourself.
Wait, seriously? I never would have thought of that as a DIY project.
Me neither.
So they show you how to, like, take the old ones off and put the new ones on.
Yep. And make sure they're aligned and working right.
It's amazing how Toto can make all these things that seem so complicated, seem so easy,
It all comes down to good communication.
and a commitment to empowering their customer.
Right. It's like they're saying, hey, you don't need to call a plumber for everything.
I love that. So this whole deep dive into the world of Toto toilets has really gotten me thinking, what if we applied this same level of innovation, like this user-centric design, to other things in our homes?
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
It's like Toto's opened our eyes to a whole new world of possibilities.
It has. What if everything was designed this well?
So we've been geeking out about Toto toilets.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
what about all the other stuff we have in our homes?
Right. Like, what other everyday objects are just hiding amazing technology or cool design features?
Exactly. What could be made better, more efficient, or just, I don't know, more fun to use?
It's like we got to look around our homes with a whole new perspective now.
Right. We were talking about self-cleaning ovens earlier.
Mhm.
Imagine never having to scrub burned-on food again.
That would be life-changing.
Seriously. And think about how much energy and water we could save if all our appliances were designed with, like, maximum efficiency in mind.
Right. Like, what if washing machines used way less water and energy?
And then folded your clothes for you when they were done.
Okay, now you're just getting me excited.
I know, right? A little carried away, maybe. But it's fun to think about the possibilities.
It is. There are no limits to innovation, really. Maybe one day we'll look back at all our current appliances and be like, wow, those were so primitive.
Just like we look at those old water-guzzling toilets now.
Exactly.
It's pretty inspiring, though, that a company like Toto can take something as basic as a toilet and completely reimagine it.
It really shows you shouldn't take things for granted.
Right?
There's always room for improvement, even with the most ordinary things.
So, to everyone listening, take a look around your home.
What do you see?
What could be made better, more efficient, more enjoyable?
You never know what you might discover.
And hey, if your toilet's giving you trouble, you might just have the skills to fix it now, thanks to this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring and never stop being curious.
And may your flushes be ever so efficient.
See you next time on The Deep Dive.